The outline is wisdom, data-driven decision-making, information infrastructures, hardware, software, people and social nature, the data analyst, and have some examples of data-driven applications for you. Um, wisdom, uh, we have to make wise choices, and the book talks about a young lady named Virginia Clayton who was a grad student at some university, I don't know, but she was going for her psychology degree, and she came up with this essence of wisdom, and it's three components, and that's knowledge is applied to human situations, involve judgment and reflection, and compassion. And what the book is trying to get across here, and the authors are getting across here, is that we have to have these characteristics when we make decisions. We as educators and administrators have to remember that the ultimate uh, end game of this is going to be how it affects the students and people. So we can't just make hard hitting decisions solely based on the data. So um, that's what they're talking about here. Uh, Data decision making simply means using data analysis to inform educators in determining courses of action involving policies and procedures. And the key word there is inform. Um, that's why it's italicized. We want to be able to inform people more than use it for solely for decision making. Um, and we have to inform people so that they can become part of the system that we use to make decisions, and we get their input, so forth and so on. So it doesn't replace experience, expertise, intuition, judgment, and acumen, which just means shrewdness of competent educators. We still have to use our noggin a little bit and not just rely solely on the data. Um, this is a model that they use, and it starts at the top with the school process, and it has the other internal factors, information systems, and external factors. And internal factors can be faculty, staff, students, so forth. Generally, people, but it also can be the technology you're using, things of that nature. External factors can be people as well, but it also is going to be uh, and by people I mean not just parents, but private citizens within the community, so forth. But other external factors can be stuff like taxes um, and the like. And then you go through a decision making process. Now, there's several processes out there, and you're going to have to decide which one you want to use. Um, but uh, it's generally based on the data, but you also use these external and external factors. And then a decision is made and a course of action is taken. And then it's extremely important to reflect and evaluate the validity of the decision. Was it good? Was it bad? What can we do better? Um, so you have to reflect. Some related terms associated with data driven decision making are data warehousing, data mining, and data disaggregation. Um, these are big $1 million words, but um, they're pretty easy to understand. Um, with data warehousing is where we're going to put all this stuff um, longitudinally, which essentially over a period of time. We have to have a place to put this stuff that's secure. Okay. Data mining, you probably heard that term, maybe not understanding it, but it's very simple. We're just looking to understand a particular phenomenon. We have to go into data mining with a question. We don't data mine just to data mine. So we might be looking to find out why a phenomenon is happening such as why students with that are on reduced lunches are doing better than students not on reduced lunches in English, for example. That would be a interesting phenomenon to look for if we see that in the data. We cursory data. We might want to dig into further to find out. Now, disaggregation is using software to break data files down into various characteristics, and that's stuff like the examples we have here. Um, an example might be using software programs to select students' performance data on a standardized test by gender, class, ethnicity, or other definable characteristics. So we use disaggregation to break down the data and put it into uh, reasonable terms that we can understand. Now we have the information infrastructures. We have two types here: the central source and the hub. Um, the central source is a top-down model where the school district and central office gets all the data and then looks at it first and then disseminates it down to the people, which ultimately goes to the schools. And decisions are pretty much crafted at the top, and then uh, information is given to the business office, student services personnel, facilities, all those types of things, and then ultimately the schools. The hub is a little bit more um, collaborative in nature, and it's where everybody kind of the school district does have an idea of what decisions they want to make, but they do a lot more collaboration, and it's much more what I feel is a better infrastructure. Let's see here. Hardware. Okay, need a computer, need internet, um, and you're gonna be sending emails and doing conference calls and those types of things. So you need that stuff. That's pretty no brainer. The software. Let's see here. Okay. Sorry, software. You need a database management system. We talked about software and query languages and statistical packages and spreadsheets and all that stuff. We talked about that week prior, uh, so we know what that is. Collaboration is key. I'm not worried about these books here particularly, but do want to express that collaboration is key. You have to let people know what's going on. You have to get their feedback. You have to get their input. You don't want to be on an island by yourself as an administrator. You want to find the key people that can help you make competent decisions, and they need to be on your team. And they can be anybody from parents to students to staff to board members, whatever, politicians, whatever. Use the best people to help you. The data analyst, every school is going to have a data analyst to help interpret the data. They must possess a number of skills, especially familiarity with information systems and fundamental statistical analysis, and they are an important resource for you and others when interpreting data that's going to help you make decisions. So you need a very competent person to do that. Sometimes it's a full-time person at the school. Sometimes you hire consultants to do it for you. That's going to depend on your style, probably what's going on at your school systems now. Um, but that's something you'll have to decide when you get in the position. Now, the last slides are really applications um, and how you make decisions based, in this case, on projections. We don't. We want to always look forward. We want to see where we're at now. We want to look at the past and then go forward. So we look how enrollment in this case has changed throughout the years, and we can make decisions on that. If enrollment's going up, we need to get more money or something in that nature. And they have the weighted averages. Too worried about that. This one is another type of decision making spreadsheet, where they're talking about language art test results and the scores, but they're breaking it down into gender and lunch eligible and all these types of things. So this is how we might want to do some data mining to get more specific in this, but we can definitely de-aggregate with something like this. A way to get data that we don't have is, they suggest a survey, and that's fine, except generally we want to use technology as our friend with this. When you give this is a great survey, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's, you're going to give this out to several people, in this case students. You might have 600-700 students, and they're going to write on this, and they're probably not going to write legibly. They may get things mixed up and so forth and so on. So what I suggest you do in the future when you do surveys is use something like SurveyMonkey. Now, if you've never heard of SurveyMonkey, you should Google it. And those are electronic surveys where the students, they can type in things if they need to. They can use radio buttons to click yes and no, or check marks in the case of this says relationship to the student or person completing the survey, father, mother, guardian. It's much more easier to get that data that way. Number one, it's nice and neat, but number two, something like SurveyMonkey can put it all together for you. If you want to pay the premium of it, you can get it for free if you want to, but it's a good investment to have. FAMU uses it to get all their data. I use it for prospective students and so forth and so on. So these old-timey surveys are great, but I would suggest you use technology for your benefit to help you out. So, and again, this is just a survey continued as the last slide. So again, we can do all these things electronically and do it over the internet, and that's why you need the internet, as in this slide prior to that. So tell me what you think of this, leave comments, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.